my longtime, I almost consider him like a coworker because we've been in the business so long together, friend, and of course, yarn company owner, Barry Klein, and we are going to talk a little bit about shape. We've been talking about different shapes, but not as much about creating shape to work on your own body.
Right.
And you're going to share a little bit of that with us now.
I'm glad to do it, and it's always good to be here with you, Vicki. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
So with shape, what we're looking at is how things fit on the body. And does it mirror your body, or does it work against your body? And is it going to enhance the things that you want to enhance and cover the things that you may want to cover up? And so the best example that I have is that the traditional way of doing things is that we start at the bottom and we work our way up. And as we do it, we shape it by doing decreases coming in and increases coming back out. So you can see the standard hourglass here. And even if you don't have an hourglass figure, I always think it's best to throw a little bit of hourglass into it.
Right.
And what that does is it just helps contour to the body. Because a lot of people, they're full busted, or they obviously have a bust, and then their body comes in a little bit, but they may need it on the bottom.
Sure.
And if you don't allow that, then it shapes out. And you can see a narrow version of it here, and an extreme version of it here, where it is so big.
It's and like trapezoidal almost.
Right.
Yeah.
What we found in doing this style of shaping is that it works against the body and not necessarily with the body. So that when you're wearing it and you're walking, you get your stride and you get your step and you're going, it becomes a bell. And so it flips and flops against you.
Nobody wants that.
No.
Yeah.
So we've come up with a new version of it. And what that's done is it's almost like a piece of fabric. We started putting darts in. Some people call them bust darts, but they're not always in line with the bust.
Okay.
So the first one that I've brought is this one right over here. We've thrown a cable in, and the appearance is a perfectly straight body side.
Okay.
Okay? So there's no illusion here. What happens now is all of the decreasing and increasing is done up the center.
Okay.
And we do a mitered style of decreasing.
Right.
And you can see it visually because the cable moves. The cable is not perfectly straight.
So you can kind of see that.
It comes in,
It's very subtle, it's nice. And because you're working with a striped yarn pattern, it gives the illusion, you just don't even know what's happening.
Exactly.
It's very smart, Barry.
Thank you.
Very smart.
And what's really neat about this is now, once this is on the body, it no longer becomes a bell. It stays on the body. So as you move and your body moves, it stays in place. The best way to show it is on a couple of the pieces that I brought with me here. On the far one, you can see that there are cables right in line with the bust. And what happens now is the fabric creates ripples. So that's what flows over the body.
So if you have some action going on in this general area, like this is a great fit for you.
Exactly. And it fits every body style. So this would be gorgeous on you and you're thin, and it'd be gorgeous on somebody who's a little bit fuller on the bottom.
I love the peekaboo mohair glittery action too at the bottom. That's really
beautiful?
nice. It's a nice touch.
You always try and take things to a new angle.
A little razzle dazzle.
Never hurts.
Yeah.
Never, never. And in this instance, we've done the same thing. We took the shaping away from the side, and this time we put it in as bust darts. And so if you follow the line of the bust straight down, that's where the decreases are.
Okay, great.
So mathematically, again, the math word, we don't like it, but
I keep telling you to stop saying math around me.
It's the man brain in me that does it. All we've done is take the increases and decreases away from the side and put it in line with the bust. And here's another way of looking at it.
Okay. Oh, that's really nice to see.
And this is the same piece as the piece underneath. And again, instead of it being angled out, you can see the ruffle that comes into the fabric.
Right.
And so it's a quarter and a quarter of the whole piece. You're shaping, and the rest of it sits in the middle, and it gives the illusion of a dart.
So the formula is the same no matter what size the particular person is.
Right.
That's the dimensions. And then you've used this really great, I know that a lot of it is just so visually we can see it, but you've used this contrasting yarn all the way up there. Does it have another purpose?
Right. It does. In this instance, because the base yarn is a tweed, I wanted to see where my decrease is going to be. So I use a color thread as my marker, and I know that every fourth row, when that's in line with my stitch, that's where my decrease is going to be.
So you don't need to use stitch markers? Like traditional stitch?
No.
Well, how's about we get knitting?
Sounds good, I'm ready. So I'm just doing plain stockinette. You can do any stitch pattern that you want. Just remember that whatever stitch pattern you do, When you do a decrease, it could change the multiple and it could change the design.
Okay.
So you want to be careful. You don't want to do something that's really, really big multiple. All right, so I'm ready to do the decrease. You can see the stitch that sits on top, and it takes a total of 3 stitches to do it.
Okay.
So you take your knitting needle and you put it in 2 stitches like you're going to knit. Pull them off, knit 1 more, and then you pick up those 2 and you pass it over. So it's a double decrease and it creates a miter.
Okay.
And then
so that's so you wouldn't do it. You chose that decrease so that it wouldn't slant one way or the other. You really do want these to line up.
Right. You want them
Okay.
to line up, and you can do a multiple of decreases. This just takes 3 stitches and gives you the same result.
Yeah. Yeah. And the other cool thing about that is that you can do the same decrease then on both sides of the body. You don't have to worry about the left slanting and the right slanting. So
Exactly.
you can do it and still watch your favorite shows.
Right. And
or whatever.
And
So let's see it
there
again.
So
yeah, let's see it again.
on the opposite side of the fabric, put your needle in like you're going to knit 2 together, slip them off, knit 1, pick up the 2 like a bind off, pass 1 over the other. So you've lost 2 stitches. You see your 1 sitting on top.
Right.
And you're done. And you just keep going across the row. It really is that simple.
Okay. Yeah, and then let's go ahead and lay it out so that they can see how it looks on this small. And you can really see, and I love, we didn't see this on the other pieces because there was a little more razzle-dazzle in the yarn. This is a nice clean yarn. And I really love that it almost gives, not quite a pin-tucked look, but it does give that very tailored, like nice seam look that if you're working on a sewn piece, would be, an added detail that you'd put a lot of money for. Thank you so much, Barry. As always, it has been a pleasure. And up next, our own Tanis Gray talks tools of the trade.